Hello everyone. So now let's look at algebraic expression, and now I want us to look at trinomials, right? I think for lack of a better word, trinomials are basically three terms, right? I think from the word try, you know that it means three, right? So these are going to be three terms, and remember that the terms are separated by a plus or a minus, right? So therefore, when you are dealing with trinomials, you are dealing with three terms, right? So now one of the key things when it comes to, solving trinomials is now firstly, you need to, take whatever that you are given and put it into standard form, right? And write it into standard form first so that you can know in terms of what is it that you are required to do, right? For example, you can say now, you can write it in terms of it's ax squared plus bx plus c, which is the standard form. Okay, and then now, whenever you are simplifying trinomials, mostly, our point of focus is going to be your first term and your last term, finding their factors and see in terms of whether this the product or the sum, the sum of those terms, can they give us our middle term, right? So those are some of the things that we do when we simplifying trinomials, right? So now let's get few examples and see in terms of what is it that we can do. We can do with trinomials, right? Now let's take the first one. Now let's take your first example. Let's say now number one, you are given that you are having 3x squared plus 7x, plus 2. Now they say you need to factorize this fully. Now for you to factorize this fully, remember I said you need to usually mostly look at your first and last term and you check whether which, sum of those can give you your middle term, right? So now in this case, you can start by firstly looking at the factors of this first and last term, right? For example, the last your first term, you have 1 and 3 as a factor, while your last term you only have what? 1 and also your 2 as your last right, as your factors, right? So now, which means now if you can check which one can give us this, now you see that if you can have any product that can give you a 6 then a 1, can you see that these two can give you your 6, and then these ones can give you your 1, and 6 and 1 can then give you your what? Your 7. Okay, so therefore that's what then you are going to do. So let's see in terms of what is it that we can do. Now this is going to be, you are going to open your bracket. This is going to be your 3x, right? And the other one is going to be x. Now we want the ones when we multiply with. Now look, if you can write the 2 here, can you see that the 2 won't be in a position to be multiplied by the 3, right? So therefore, what we are going to do is we are going to have what? 1 here and also 2 here, because when you multiply the 3 and the 2, they give you a 6, and 1 and x, they give you an x, which is going to give us your 7x, right? So this is going to be plus and plus because both of the signs are positive, right? So now we have factorized the first one. Let's check the second one in terms of what is it that we can do, right? Now let's check number 2. Your 6, let's say now you're having your 6, a squared subtract 17ab, right? And plus 12 b squared. And then now they want you to also simplify this one. Now this one is a little bit tricky, right? But you can see that this AB is accumulated through multiplying the first and the last term out here. So that is something that you do not necessarily have to trouble yourself with, right? So now what is it that we are going to do here? We can check factors which in totality they can help us to acquire the 17. Okay, and the 17 is negative. Now look, if we can let's remove this here. Now if let's say you have this, now what is it that you are going to do? Look, the first one, you are having 1 and 6 as a factor. You are also having 2 and 3, right? While the last one, you're having 1 and 12, you're having 2 and 6, you're having 3 and 4 as a factor, right? But we want those when you either multiply or when you multiply them and then adding them, they are going to give you your 17, right? So I think in this case, this one and this one can stand a good chance in giving us our middle term, right? Look, because now, firstly, if you are going to have, let's say in this case, you are having, let's say you take this one as your 2a, the other one is going to be what? It's going to be your 3a. Then you take this other one as what? As, let's say you put the 3b here, and then the other one you put it the 4b here. Look, the reason why we are doing this, so that when you multiply or add this, they can give us your middle term. Look, let me just give you, a hint on this. Now, firstly, if you can multiply this one and this last one, what is it that you are going to accumulate? You are going to have 8ab, right? And if you are going to have multiply this one and this one, you are going to have 9ab. And now if you can have if you can now add this, what is 8 plus 9? 8 plus 9 can give you your 17ab altogether. So therefore, these are going to be the perfect factors which can help us to get to our, our middle term. Are we together? So at least, hopefully now you understand. Now let's then continue. Which signs are we then going to use? Now the signs that we are going to use here, we are going to use a negative and also a negative. Remember, because this is going to be your negative 8 and this one is going to be your negative 9. And negative 8 minus 9 gives us your negative 17, right? So that's the reason why we are using this one. And when you multiply a negative and a negative, you are also going to get your last term, right? So therefore, this is going to be correct. Now, then let's continue. So this is going to be like this. This is going to be factorized fully. Right, again. Now, let's check in terms of what else can we get to, to factorize. Let's look at number 3. This was your number 2. Let's look at number 3 in terms of what can we have. Now, in this one, let's say now you are given that you have let's get this. Let's say you have 2x squared subtract 6x. And what else? Subtracts 36. Now they say you need to also factorize this. For you to be able to factorize this, what you can do firstly here, can you see that 2 is common in all this, right? Your 2 is common in all this, right? So if the 2 is common in all this, so you can start by actually taking out the 2 as a common factor. What is it that you are going to be left? You are going to be left with x squared subtract what? Subtract 3x. And then what is 36? When you've taken out the common factor of 2, you are going to be left with 18, right? So that's that. And now after that, can you then be in a position to factorize this? X squared subtract 3x, this is an x, subtract 3x, subtract 18. Now, what is it that we are going to have here? So this is going to be 2 into, we open 2 brackets, right? This is going to be x and x. Why is this going to be x and x? Because remember the coefficient here, it's same as 1. And the factors of 1, it's 1 and 1. That's why we are going to have x and x now. Now we want here for the 18, which factors can give us 3? Now let's start. You're going to have 1 and 18. You are going to have 2 and 9, if I'm not mistaken. And 2 and 9, can they give us 3? No, they are not going to give us that. Now, however, if you can have 3 and 6, can you see that when you either add or you subtract these, somehow you can manage to get a 3, right? So therefore, which means this is going to be same as what? This, therefore, it's going to be, you are going to use 3 and also what? And 6 as your factors, right? And now, which one is going to be a negative? Remember now, the bigger factor is going to take the sign of the middle term. Now, between 3 and 6, which one is the bigger one? It's going to be 6. So this is going to be negative. and this is going to be positive, right? And remember, when you're multiplying a positive and a negative, you're still going to get your negative 17 out to get. So that is as far as, trinomials are concerned, right? Now let's see in terms of what else can we get. Now, I want us to, look at, your perfect square trinomials, right? Because I know that's one of the most key thing that most of us struggle with. So now let's make up some space. Perfect square trinomials, right? Trinomials. Because that's what I know that most of the students have, right, struggle with, or to be able to identify them, right? So now, what is it that you can do to identify that? Let's say now your number 1a, you are given that you are having 4m squared subtract your 12mn and then plus your 9n squared, right? Now, remember, this is a perfect square trinomial. So since this is a perfect square trinomial, you see the word square. So what is the key thing that you need to firstly, be in a position to identify the square numbers, right? Be in a position to identify the square numbers, right? Now, if you can check on this one. Now, can you see that this one here, what you are having here is you are having 4, which is a square number. You are also having 9n squared. So these are squares, right? So therefore, and for you to have your perfect square, this is same as what? Now, which means now you are going to say, what are the root of this? Now, this is same as going to be 2m, right? 2m subtract 3n close bracket squared, because when you expand this, it's still going to give you that, right? Remember here, it's like you are looking for a root of this, and also what is the root of this? And since this is your your perfect square, now these are going to be 2 brackets of the same thing. How to get? So then that's going to be that. Let's get another one to see in terms of whether are we in a position to identify your perfect square trinomials, right? Now let's get our nice color there. Now, let's say you are given that you have 49 p to the power of 4, right? Plus, let's say you have your 84 p squared plus your 36. Now they say here, you need to factorize this fully. Now, what is it that you are going to do? Remember, I just gave you the medicine, right? The first thing that we do, we identify square numbers. This is a square number. This is a square number. And remember, p to the power 4 is same as p2 multiplied by p2, right? Multiplying powers of the same base, you are having p to the power 4, right? So this is also a square, because I know most of you will say, but this is not a 4, it's not a square. But luckily, you can also be in a position to identify that 4 is also a square number, right? So now what is this going to be now? So you are going to say, what is the root of this and what is the root of that? Then you just write all of those in or under, and then you square them, right? So this is going to be your 7p squared. Subtract, or rather, now in this case, because this is plus and plus, so this is going to be plus what? Plus 6 all squared, right? And then now this is going to be how you are able to factorize your different of your perfect square, or rather your perfect square trinomials. I think that is as far as your trinomials are concerned. Thank you very much.